Um, yes, hello, I'm Matt, and this is going to be the first part of my tutorial on how to do megaminx blindfolded, which is why I had to demonstrate that, but okay. So this is probably going to be in 4 parts, this tutorial, and this one is mostly about memorization, how I arrange my memo system on the megaminx. First off, I'd like to state that this is aimed at people who can already do blindfolded solving and are at least reasonably familiar with solving a megaminx. I'm not going to go over basics of either. I'm going to assume that you know them already. It saves me a bit of time. That information is already available elsewhere, probably better explained. So, first of all, I have a slightly weird memo system, so I can do basically 1 letter per target for all 60 targets. Most people won't be able to do that, so I'm going to go over the alternative that most people go for mainly, but I'm going to quickly go over how I do it first. I use a combination of English letters, Greek letters, and digits from 0 to 9. So, well, my memorization method is tied into my execution method. I think that's quite important in megaminx. I think that helps to make it easier. So, puzzle is split up into a stop face, these 5 faces that are near the top, these 5 that are towards the bottom, and this one that's actually on the bottom. And yes, I have a weird colour scheme as well. I have orange on top and blue on bottom, and this is my orientation when I'm doing my last layer. But yeah, you'll probably have it looking slightly different. So 10 digits, you get 10 targets each in the top face and the bottom face. I just start at the top and work round clockwise, so that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Then I use most of the English alphabet going, I start on this face here, so I have A, B, C, D, E, and then continue around in that fashion all the way around until Y here. And it's important to have an order, I think, on each face, and between these rings of 5 faces have an order of the faces which you are comfortable with. So when I'm doing the S2L step on megaminx, I start here, I work my way around, so that's just the order of faces that feels most comfortable for me. And similarly, I use Greek letters around these ones, and this one here ends up being Z because that was left over from English letters, and there's just not quite enough Greek letters to end up with omega here, so that's the last Greek letter, and we have Z there. So that's how I do it. Most people will probably use 2 letters per target, so I would use the first letter to designate which face the target's on first. I think it's best to split them into faces rather than doing it by pieces. So I would suggest whichever order of faces you prefer here. Like I said, I start in this white face and work round towards the grey face here. If you pick that scheme, I suggest you don't finalise your scheme until you watch my execution video if you're going to take ideas from this, just because, like I said, they tie into each other, and I think you should probably take ideas from both before you finalise your method. So in this example, faces would be labelled, for example, A, B, C, D, E, and then similarly on the bottom faces, the F, G, H, I, J, and then K and L. So that's 12 faces, and then on each face just have letters say from A through to E for target I tend to just start at the top of the base and work down clockwise. So A, B, C, D, E, or for the corners, A, B, C, D, E. And my corners and edges follow the same scheme. Just start at the top of the face, work down clockwise for all of them. For all these faces, it's just the top's created from this top face here. Same for this one. The top face, I turn it like that, that's the top. And for the bottom one, I turn it like that, and that's A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E. I think that's quite useful. When you see my execution video, you'll understand why I think that's quite useful. It makes setups very easy to do during execution because you have to think a lot less. But I'll get into that. Memorization amount for this, 2 letters per face is about 7 DB3s very roughly, or about a 6x6 I think, and well, somewhere between a 4x4 and a 5x5 if you just have 1 letter per target like I do. It makes that slightly easier. One thing I would say is that you should really practice tracing things a little bit, just because it may be difficult to get used to where all the letters are, because well, different. There's more colours in the megaminx. You're not really used to it. You're used to doing cubes probably if you're watching this, so you'll probably need a little bit of practice to get used to finding where certain targets are. And I suggest you practice that a little bit before you do an attempt, because otherwise it's going to cost you a lot of time during the attempt trying to work it out, and that's just going to make the actual attempt at the blindfolded solve a bit more difficult, and well, it's not really worth it. Practice beforehand. I suggest practicing a lot before this, just to get used to it, because it is unfamiliar. I think that's everything I wanted to say in this video, probably. Yeah, I think so. I know some people memorise slightly differently. They'll like Q, for instance, I think, specifies a piece, so each piece would have a certain letter, and then he specifies the orientation, which you can do, but certainly I don't. I prefer the system that I have. It works with execution a lot better, and just it ties things together and it makes it a lot easier, and I suggest if you're following this tutorial, you just stick with that. Okay, I should be making a video on execution tomorrow probably, and after that, the third video will be on tracking pieces, keeping track of which pieces you have memorised so far, because a lot of pieces here it's slightly difficult. Corners aren't too bad, the edges are a little bit trickier. I had to come up with some tricks to be able to do that, and I've now found a method which I find quite comfortable. And then in the fourth video, I'm just going to talk about some extra stuff, maybe some more advanced tricks you can do going outside the realm of the sort of easier execution, just to take a few shortcuts, save yourself a bit of time and some hooks. And after that, I might do a video about this guy here, the master kilominx, the centres and the wings. Centres aren't too bad for tracking now. I've got a decent method for that. Also, centres are probably the only piece type in any of these which I would solve using 3 cycles rather than basically 2 cycles. You can't actually do 2 cycles, it's pseudo 2 cycles, sort of like M2 or R2, but it's the same sort of idea. And then wings, quite easy to execute, I would say, but tracing them is quite difficult. I have made some progress. I'm close to getting a method for it, but that'll come sometime later once I have figured that one out. And yeah, we'll have more to come and explain things better. And it's really not too difficult once you have this method in place. It's designed to be fairly easy. easy because you don't want to have complicated setups and stuff for megaminx. It's difficult enough already, but it can be made fairly easy, and hopefully you will agree with me by the time you've watched all these videos, and thank you for watching.